to cities and she spoke out about certain things. So that's activism. You know, she put her life in, you know, on the line in that regard. I don't know if we know what change looks like, cuz like you say we need to be angry ourselves to fix this problem. Well, we've done that. We've been angry. We've been hostile about it. We've been frustrated about it. I don't know if we're frustrated to the level that you want us to be, where we're angry about it all the way across the board, like black on black crime, robbing our own neighborhoods, being violent in our own stores, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I don't know if we're that angry yet.
That means our anger looks opportunistic. It doesn't look real.
Well, but we're giving out awards for that anger, though. That's my point.
Listen. I shared the number yesterday. I think I said 64.
No, you say 67. I remember.
Yes. 67. Thanks for the correction. I don't have it in front of me.
It's okay.
67 murders in Baltimore. I'm not. Damn it, Jay. Come on. Been drinking. In Buffalo last year, 67 murders. Where's the anger? Where's the outrage? That's one, not even the largest city in New York. That's one small city in New York. 67 murders. We're not pissed. Our activist leaders, they aren't pissed. Our preachers, they aren't pissed. We aren't angry. We don't get angry until.
I sent you guys a story. Because stories like that scare me. And it's been breaking all day. Can you hear me, Jay?
No. I was talking.
Oh, gotcha. Okay. Stories like that scare me. It's been breaking all day. It's really been breaking over the last couple of weeks. I guess ever since Patrice Cullors filed her, I guess she probably filed her taxes because she had to. It is now being revealed even more where some of the money for Black Lives Matter has gone. And today it was released that $2.1 million went to her boyfriend, her baby daddy. I bring that up because this is a group that was supposedly angry about Black lives. And they said that they matter. And they convinced the rest of the world that they matter. And the world responded. And they said, we're gonna give you guys money to help fight for Black lives. That $2.1 million was more than they gave Trayvon Martin's foundation. I don't think we're angry, Jay. I think we're opportunistic.
No, I agree.
And I don't think we know what activism looks like. So to answer Anthony Bruce's question, how long do we wait on a government that we know doesn't care about us?
Give a damn about us.
And I agree, but the problem is, Jay, it don't look like we give a damn about us.
Well, we have to do. The old folks used to say, you got to do your work at home first before you expect for anybody else to give a damn about you. You got to do your work first. We want people to care about us. And apparently, I mean, I'm just saying us now. I don't want nobody to get offended if I'm talking about, all Black people, but apparently we don't care about ourselves. Listen, that Black Lives Matter was a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
That was a huge blunder. Now, I believe Dick is priceless. I believe that.
Is it Richard? Somebody named Richard?
Richard Dick, William Bill Dick.
I don't think that's
Detective Tracy.
Detective Dick Tracy.
What the
I love y'all.
$2.1 million out of a fund that should be going to help us. You giving it to your Richard,
man.
Your Richard.
But she's been giving it to. They've been giving it to stuff that ain't related to Black lives from the start. Like it's never been what it appeared to be. And now that it's all coming out, and it's going to get, by the way, going to get way worse before it gets better. We're probably days away or weeks away from the charges being dropped. Because folks are going to say, well, damn, what have you been doing with our money?
Well, it just puts a stain on people want to do for others who are doing right.
Right.
So now it's just going to make it harder for other people to want to support the other causes because now they're believing all these, I hate to say all, but they're going to have the perception that the remaining organizations
well here's
just as bad.
Well, I think the word you're looking for, Ron, is that they're going to demand a level of transparency in the giving that is wildly uncomfortable for all of us. You're going to have to show your books. You're going to have to show us where the money went and what are the results and da 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 da. You know, and so
I think it's worse than that, dude. I don't think they're going to give to make you even show you.
Some won't. I agree with you. Some won't.
If Black Lives Matter blundered that much money, why the hell would I give to the next Black Lives Matter? My perception of those next group coming up, I'm gonna have the same perception.
I agree with you, Ron, but listen, white folks been stealing money all of this country's history. Let's not pretend that the Black Lives Matter is the first organization to steal money from an organization.
No, I'm not saying we all know. Hell, I can name a big organization that's been stealing money from people for a long goddamn time, but I'm gonna leave that organization out the name for today. But and you know who it is, Jay, because you talk about them every goddamn day.
Let me be clear. Slide-In Missionary Baptist Church tonight chose violence. They are coming in hot tonight. They are coming in very, very hot.
But we all know organizations steal money. I mean, that's the thing. But when you keep seeing that your own organizations are misusing their funds, it makes it hard for you to want to support those organizations going forward. It's hard for you to say, shit, here's Black Lives Matter number 2. They say they're better than everybody else. I'm not about to give them no money until I see it. So I see them do something in the community.
I think the part that makes me sad is that is that, you know, we're constantly saying if we had the resources, if we had the monies to be able to, we would change some things. We'd make a difference. We talked about last year, I believe, that was it 90 million, 80 million, however many million, I think it was way up there, that it was going to be broken up into some increments from Nike or someone like that, some large company that was going to be giving money in installments to the Black Lives Matter movement. And you saying, y'all over here tricking off.
Tricking?
I said what I said, Kyrie. They tricking off money when they're, you know, let me go ahead and get all my family members to start an LLC. And my cousin, he owns a security business. I think I'm gonna have him down for security. My man, he's gonna have a business for so-and-so. I think I'm gonna put him down. Okay, but yet and still, we got people like Trayvon Martin's foundation and all of the people. What was it? Michael up in Ferguson. Michael
Brown.
Michael Brown's people, was all of them. All of the different foundations across the nation that are dependent on this, like, parent company, if you will, for lack of a better word, but for Black Lives Matter to be distributing all this money to all these different people, which is why all these corporations gave all this money to them in the first place. Whether they gave it to them to clear their conscience or you know, or whatever the reason, they gave all this money to these people. And these people are just living like fat rats. And if Trayvon Martin's foundation only got 200,000 out of all the millions of dollars that has been flowing through this, it's so sad. It really is sad.
But I think the part that makes it even harder and is relevant to this conversation is what Anthony Bruce and Tim Hinkle just said. It makes it hard for blacks to support other blacks.
Exactly.
It makes it hard because he just said Black Lives Matter ain't shit. Okay, so if we all walk around with that mentality and we don't even have enough wherewithal, like Al said, to trust each other, because now what's the march? What is the march now? What are we doing with the march? Are we marching for Black lives? Are we marching? What are we marching for?
For the opportunity.
This is a slippery slope that has happened in a horrible confluence of events, because you got a community that's tearing itself apart on multiple factions. You've got, and by the way, a community that was built to tear itself apart. Let's be clear, right? Then you have a government who doesn't care and only placates that community just enough to continue to maintain its own political power. How do you change any of it if everybody's in on the take?
We are too busy trying to change other people to accept us, to make our lives better, when the focus should be within.
Got to be more careful.
So until we realize that the change is gonna have to come from within our community and not depend on external factors, then we're gonna be in the same situation.
I need your app.
So
I got a card here. Guys, that's the whole damn kit caboodle. We're so busy trying to hold other people accountable that we're not willing to hold ourselves accountable for what we do to ourselves.
Okay, so
how the hell am I going to complain about you shooting at me, but I'm cutting myself every day?
Okay, but here's the challenge I'm having with what you're saying. The start and beginning of accountability has to begin also with the foundational universal belief system that we all agree to. What is that?
What do you mean?
Are we standing on Black Lives Mattering? Are we standing on the Million Man March? All black men go home? Are we standing on I'm black and I'm proud? What are we using as the moral guide to universally bring us together and say, get your asses on the same page so we can move forward?
Well, here's the problem, I believe. There's a song, old song.
Gospel song.
Don't quote another one of these Mississippi hymns that ain't nobody ever heard of.
that is, y'all have heard that. I come from a broke family. I didn't have much, but the Lord's been good to me. Y'all never heard that?
Good time.
Maybe it's just the way he sang it, Al. You sang it better.
Go ahead.
Damn.
Go ahead, cuz.
Okay, so that's a whole song.
Mama, we don't know this song. Me and you don't know this song, Mama.
You might know this. You might know this. It says, we don't need another hero. We don't need to know the way home. All we need is life beyond the Thunderdome.
I didn't expect Tina Turner to be quoted
You
tonight.
didn't expect Tina Turner to come out, did you?
Here's my point.
Renee appreciates your singing, by the way, Al. Just want to throw that out there.
Thank you, Renee. School these young people.
Here's my point. We're always looking for some great model, some great hope, somebody to take the lead and for us to follow. This shit is as easy as 1, 2, 3, ABC, baby, you and me. That's the Jacksons. That's the Jacksons. Jackson 5. Every man. Y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all don't want to hear it. Y'all touch y'all head. Y'all don't want to hear it.
Well, because
He must do his part to raise his family. And we can't be so concerned about we ourselves, but we must be concerned about the whole.
Rondo trying to raise his family, and she telling the kid to go to bed, so he had to pull a gun on her.
He allowed himself to get offended by what that woman said. Now he might end up in jail. So he was more concerned about self then. He removed the son to care for the son. He cared about how she offended him by what she said.
Because you're making my point for me. You're saying every man got to take care of his family. How does that man take care of his family with no tools? How does he build a house with no tools?
Come on. You act like we ain't never been there. There was a point in time where black families were a lot more whole than they are now. We've been there. We've done that. Most black homes at a point in our country had, even the Evans family had a mama and a daddy. They were in the ghetto. Good times. Those were good times, by the way. Because they had a mama and a daddy.
I got to be honest with you. That might be the oldest thing you've ever said on this show. Once upon a time, we all took care of ourselves and blah, 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 blah. Nigga, we know that. We're talking about the problem that has emerged from that, where there's been at least 2 to possibly 3 generations of broken homes with no fathers. That's the problem we're talking about. We're not talking about what happened in 40, 50, and 60. We're talking about what happened in 70s, 80s, and 90s.
I refuse to believe that we're ignorant to what it takes to raise your family.
If we're not ignorant to it, then why aren't we doing it?
I believe we're more selfish than we are ignorant. We care more about self than we do the whole.
Do you even hear the words that are coming out your own mouth? If that's true, then how do we break that, sir? That's what we're asking. If we have become a selfish society of men who have been trained perpetually over the past 30 years to only look out for themselves, how do we break that cycle so that black men can take care of their own the way you are proposing?
Ninjas have to grow up.
Now,
what does that take? You want some magic bullet answer? I don't have. If there was a magic bullet answer here, somebody would be selling that shit. Ain't no magic bullet answer.
They are selling it every Sunday. Collection. Sorry.
Ooh, he went too far. He went too far. He went too far.
I won't lie to you. That escalated quickly. That really escalated extremely fast. I did not see that coming as fast as it did. And my mouth was open, so I didn't even have time to prepare for it.
I mean, both of you guys, unfortunately, both of y'all are right at the same damn time.
We are.
Pretty sad to say. There is no magic bullet.
No. You got to do your goddamn work.
You know, are the tools
but
there?
But it ain't that simple.
But are the tools there? Yes, the tools are there.
Goddamn right.
What you got to do, what they have to do, and it's, as everybody in this thing has said multiple times, it's all about accountability. It's all about making a decision, a conscious decision to grow the F up, be a man, and take care of your peoples.
But how do we? Okay, but how do we get?
Let me ask you this question, because
you remember, don't leave any man behind. As much as cuz like this, sometimes you gotta let some of these niggas go.
I understand.
And start with the ones that you need to, and start with the ones you need to really start with.
Oh, damn.
I understand what your question gonna be. So I have a question for ILB, and I like the neckiness that we don't mind sharing on this show.
Don't cuss.
ILB, you went through a divorce situation that I believe wasn't the most positive situation, but yet you are a father to those kids. You didn't allow that situation, resentment, hatred, however you want to call it, what people go through. I'm not talking about you in particular. You didn't allow that to to stop you from being a father to those kids. And they will never grow up, though mom and dad ain't together, they'll never grow up saying, my daddy wasn't in my life. So many men use that as well, I shouldn't say.
You didn't already said it. You say it all the time.
So many men use that, not all, but so many of us use that as an excuse. So now we just go on and start over somewhere else, create some more babies.
Okay, stop right there. How do we take Al's example and make it the standard as opposed to the exception?
Why did you do it, Al?
Oh, it had nothing to do with me. It was the God, and I'm being transparent. It was the God in me, because not only am I a father to my kids, I'm a friend to their mother. Because it's important for us to raise two grounded young adults to be civil to one another. So it's the God in me that allowed me to not fall into that pattern. And I agree with you, cuz so many people's like, look, if this is what it takes, if I got to deal with you just to see my kids, then you know what? I ain't gonna deal with neither one. Again, that's
so how do we turn that in? So how do we turn that into the standard, and anything else is the exception?
The way you're doing it, the way Cuz is doing it, the way Ron is doing it, the way I'm doing it, there's got to be a trickle down effect. There's got to be a domino effect. People coming behind us have to see that, and unfortunately, they're not seeing enough of it.
Exactly.
It is just like with Black Lives Matter. It's just like with Martin Luther King. It was all positive, but people instantly are going to look for something wrong, because we've been taught if it's too good to be true, if it seems too good to be true, then it probably is. So we automatically, and I say we generically, we automatically start looking for flaws. And once we find a little bitty speck, we start picking away at it, and then it reveals a crack in a foundation, like Black Lives Matter. And water's eventually going to start gushing out of them cracks, as we, witnessing in the testimony. But it was the same way with Martin Luther King. Oh, look at him trying to tell us to be better people, but he's cheating on his wife. We're going to automatically look, and we're crabs in a barrel.
And we don't give that same look at everybody else, because we want them to accept us. So we're willing to accept their flaws, their mistakes, and even push to be that. But as soon as there's one of us, it's all over.
Listen, them last two comments from them two brothers, that's some powerful stuff.
And Lloyd, as well, I know you said, how do we make it the standard? We are the standard. We just don't call out the exceptions.
I was talking about the message in the chat.
But Lloyd said, how do we make this the standard? That is the standard. It's always been the standard.
Mm-hmm.
Nobody wants the standard. Everybody wants the exception. The exception is easy to get because I don't have to do shit. The standard requires work. The standard means I got to look myself in the mirror every goddamn day and say what I did wrong, accept what I did wrong, and fix it. The exception, I don't have to. I can let that shit be and walk on and keep on rolling. And nobody will say nothing.
And you must have, in order for it to work, Al B said it. He said Christ, and as a Christian, I 100% believe. But
you're not a Christian.
Well, okay, you're right. You're right. But you must have a certain amount of selfless service in mind when you want to do right by your family. It has to be a certain amount of selflessness. If you make it about you, if he had made it about him, he would have used that pain from that situation and said, "Fuck it all." I'm sorry about the cussing, mama, but that's the truth. But when you say, you know what, it's much bigger than me, It's important that the next generation understands their value. I have to be in their life to teach them their value. Then you say, fuck me, it's all about them.
Well, first of all, let's be clear. You're not sorry about the cussing at all.
I'm trying to stop, but hey,
not at all. Not
showed up. I gotta cuss now. I gotta
cuss. Yeah, all lies is what you say. First of all, Tim Hinkle's in the building.
What's up, Tim?
With once again the crispiest beard this side of the Mason-Dixon line.
What's going on, good black people?
What's going on?
Tim, I'm gonna ask you a question.
Right on.
Why are you a committed black father?
I ain't got a choice.
Oh, you got a choice.
Oh no, you ain't got no choice. I ain't got no choice. I was a victim of a father who wasn't committed. I ain't got no choice. Let me say, I had my first child when I was 20 years old. I was a sophomore in college at Murray State, and that was shocking. And and even then, I didn't come straight home from college and take care of her because I was still at school feeling like I said, if I can get to the league, I could take care of my child better than going to get a 9 to 5. Well, another year went by and I realized I wasn't going to the league. So
basketball, football, just so
football.
People understand just the story.
Yeah, I'm sorry, football.
No, gotcha. Mm-hmm.
So I need to go and come up out of here with some paper and go home and take care of my daughter. So for my daughter's first year and a half, or 2 years, I'm gonna say, I wasn't in her life full time like I should have been. And I remember how it felt for me. I said, I'm not gonna do my child like this. It's not a good feeling. Wasn't nothing manly about that. So I had to come home and do what I had to do to take care of my child. Now, of course, I knew I couldn't afford to have no more at the time, so it was like a 10-year gap between my daughter and my son. So, but as me being a responsible father, I don't have a choice. Like I said, I'm not gonna put my child through the same punishment, mental punishment, emotional punishment that I went through. So that was that's why I say what I said.
I would like for you to give yourself more credit than that. You made a choice when you left school to go back home to take care of your kid. So I understand what you're saying. I have no other choice as a man, but really, you had a choice, and you chose to do the right thing, not for you, but for her.
Yeah,
so
but
we have to start sharpening each other and convincing each other that we can do the right thing. That's the problem. Many of us don't feel like we can.
But my other choice was to be a deadbeat.
But that was a choice.
Nah.
It wasn't an option. It wasn't an option for you, but you could have made that choice.
Nothing about that sexy, baby.
None about that.
I agree.
None about that's a good choice. None about that was an option. Not at all. Never crossed the mind.
Then why are so many young men choosing it?
Because it's easy.
Because we do have choice.
Well, there's a whole lot of reasons. Now, fortunate for me, I had a child with a woman who was smart, who was willing on allowing me to be in my daughter's allowing me to be in my daughter's life. Even though she knew I was still at school, she knew I wasn't going to be that type of guy that wasn't going to, be involved with our daughter, regardless if I'm always in Murray and she's always here in Louisville. My scholarship money, I didn't need all that money. I'm getting $5,000 a semester. What I need $5,000 a semester for? Everything's paid for. I didn't need all that money, so I would keep $2,000, send $3,000 on to her. Here, get what you need to get for her. I know it's not a lot, but every little bit helps and counts, and she appreciates that. You know what I'm saying? So whenever I had opportunities to take breaks and come home, I did. you know, to make sure and when I was at home, I wasn't home going out to the club, hanging out with my boys. I'm at home spending time with my child because I don't want my daughter to look at me like I'm a stranger. You know, that's a I don't I could imagine when I'm hearing I got some buddies, man, that said, man, my son looked at me like he didn't even know who I was. I couldn't imagine
Right.
having my child look at me like he didn't have no idea who I was, or she had no idea who I was. I was a stranger. I was just some dude. No, hell.
Hell no.
And especially got kids, and some of the kids they look just like the dad.
Yeah, that goes to what Anthony
God
Bruce
damn,
said.
man, how can you sleep at night?
Yeah.
We have to surround ourselves with like-minded people. And Tim, you said yourself said when you came home, you wasn't all about that club. You know what I'm saying? You was about spending time with your daughter because you had to go back down to that school in southwestern part of Kentucky. I don't say that name.
On the other side of Mama Noise, the school.
Yeah, opposite of where we went to school.
Okay.
Right.
Hold on, y'all can't say Murray. Y'all can't say Murray.
There's only one MSU in the state.
Yeah, I was gonna say we only represent one MSU.
There's only one MSU. Murray State is not in existence.
Although we do love John Moran. We do love John Moran.
Hold on now. Let's say this. You realize we own the state.
Oh my goodness.
Layton. Hold on, no. Whoa. Morehead kind of smacked y'all around this year. But we digress. We digress.
What point? I mean, I'm trying to figure out
that's a different show. We'll come back to that one. We'll come back.
We're gonna leave that alone.
We'll come back to
We digress. But you have to surround yourself with like-minded people. And I always attribute I think it was WLOU, it might have been a different station, but when it used to sign off at night, it used to always say, if you can't change the people
and change the people around
you around, change the people. You know, if you can't change people around you, change the people around you.
Yep.
So
how do we? Okay, so let's stay in that moment right there because maybe that is a solution. How do we change the environment and the people around today's Black man and give them a different voice to listen to? And here's what I mean by that. We're talking TV, we're talking music, we're talking all of the influences that are there, social media, whatever. How do we bombard, or how is there a path to changing the people around our Black men so that they no longer think a Nick Cannon tribe is cool, or Future tribe is cool, or multiple baby. Diddy got 2 girls, his old ass got 2 girls fighting on social media today. That's not cool. How do we change that?
We need to stop talking about it and start being about it. We do too much talking and not enough walking. And that's the same thing with our stance politically, economically. We always want to talk about it. We always want to march about it, but we don't want to live it.
Where you getting about?
I think a lot of these men need to vet these women a lot better. What you're dealing with, because that can have effect on a lot of these men who are not in their kids' life too, man. You got some individuals. You see horror stories all the time, man. How some of these women, they use kids as weapons.
Oh yeah,
and that's like the worst. Especially when the mothers probably know more than likely what it felt like not having their father in the home in their life, but yet they're willing to expose their kids to that same experience because she's mad at the individual that she laid down with. You know, I felt like he wasn't there enough. You know what I'm saying? Or he didn't do right by her, and now he's moved on and got a new girl, and he's doing right by this new girl, but treating her like shit. And men, as men, I hold us responsible for a lot of stuff, man. And I'm always hold men accountable for everything, man, for the most part. You know, and one of those is like Man, you need to pick better. You need to leave these tackheads, these hoes, these chicken heads alone. Pick better.
Chicken head.
Tim,
Yeah.
nope, we call it pickle nigga meter. You
You
gotta have
call them what?
you gotta have a good pick, you gotta have a good pick a nigga meter.
Well, I don't use that N word, so but I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying.
You use the word tackhead and hoes, but you won't use the word nigga?
No.
Damn.
Well, I mean, damn, Tim.
I'm just saying that's just my stance, big brother. I apologize.
It stands. He's got a standard. It's a standard he lives by.
Pick a brother. We just pick a brother meter. Then you have the right pick a
But
brother.
hey, a chicken head or a tack head could be any color, any race, any creed or religion.
There you go.
Right?
Exactly.
But we know what that N word. We know who that N word is directed to.
We know what chicken head means.
But let me say this: don't those tack heads and chicken heads aren't they genderless?
Aren't they what? I'm sorry.
Aren't they genderless? Because then it's a tack head brothers and tack heads.
Yeah.
Hey, hey, look here. Back in the day, Lord, we talked about the chicken head. We didn't call them chicken head because they had them old fake hair, and they had the girls had that hair all over the place, be red. That's why they call them chicken heads. Because they look like
I got
chicken.
you. I'm just saying.
There are chicken head dudes, Lloyd.
Yeah, I'm asking the question because I'm saying.
I never addresses a man as a chicken head, but hey, if it is what it is.
It is what it is.
We call them Pookies and Ray Rays.
I guess I'm.
But that's the other question too, Lloyd. You gotta stop. We gotta stop promoting the negative side of us. So as much as people talk bad about Nick Cannon, you got 2 times those people talking good about it. For everything that he does bad, you got somebody gonna come out with 5 things that he's doing better to offset the shit that he's done wrong. We're good at doing that. At some point, you got to stop promoting that stuff and start holding those people accountable for the stuff that they're doing. You can't just say, "Hey, Nick Cannon's got 10 kids, but boy, he got that Wild Now show, and that Wild Now show is great."
We got to shame him. You remember how they, back in the days, man, when a teenage girl, a young girl used to get pregnant, she used to get shamed. She get embarrassed and she get talked about. She was, go to church. They be gossiping about it, saying, "Oh, she's so fast, little girl. She done got pregnant. They done sent on out to the country to have that baby." Then all of a sudden she come back 9 months later. All of a sudden she slim. She lost a little weight, but she done had a baby. Grandma's keeping that baby and raising that baby like it's hers.
Does shaming correct the behavior?
Will it correct the behavior? Maybe not. But it'll make people think.
Right. It'll make them look.
Let them be an example. Hey, this is not what men should do. Just because he can afford to have 10 kids doesn't mean he should have 10 kids. Because guess what? He can't be there for all 10 of these kids emotionally. What about the emotional part of being a father? He can't be there for 10 kids. How can you? No. You spread yourself so thin. You got this project going on. You got that project going on. But then you got these 10 kids. Where's the quality time at for these kids?
We had that discussion several weeks back. It's more to it than being financially able to support kids. It takes more than that to grow grounded, solid adults. So we had that discussion, and some people seem to think as long as you can pay for them,
You can't let child support, and I call what he's doing, paying those kids, paying them off. You paying child support. Child support can't raise your kid. Child support cannot be the one out there telling your kid what's right, what's wrong. You have to be in your kid's life. You have to be there at some point. And send them every 4 or 5 months because you spread so thin. It's not really. Hell, he might even be every 4 or 5 months. It could be longer than that because there's so many of them.
Twitter said the elevated need to remove ourselves from the rest. Let the lowlifes look up to our example.
Didn't I say it earlier? Sometimes you gotta let motherfuckers go.
Well, look,
is that the solution? Take the best among us and say, "Good luck to the rest of you."
It's one of those things. Everybody not gonna make it. We're not all going to heaven. We got to accept that. There's gonna be some cats gonna be on the outside looking in. Best of luck to you.
And there's gonna be some brothers right in the middle. You go either way. Shit, you can go either way.
Best of luck to you. That's all I can tell you. Best what you should have. You had your opportunity to do what you needed to do. Get through these pearly gates. If you don't make it, hey, that's your fault. Now you can't. Nobody else's fault but yours.
But you know what you said, Tim, in regard to the description of the women, I will just say that you gave. You know, I wonder if we wouldn't have so much focus on a woman's titties and tail, that you would actually have a conversation with her and stop worrying about how quick you can get between her legs and add bodies and all this other stuff. That you might know what type of woman it is that you're impregnating. Nobody said, nobody put a gun to these men's head and said slide in like they do over at missionary, slide in missionary. Nobody said gone over there raw dog and then you get what you get. You knew what you was doing when you had that erection. You was making a decision whether you wanted to pull out a prophylactic or not. And so then when you got that one pregnant, then it's, oh snap, I have this woman pregnant. What is we gonna do? I know she need to fix that or whatever. And it's like, wait a minute. Stop just looking at titties and tail. There's got to be more to a woman than that.
I agree, Mom Noah. But that's why I say you need to vet these women you dealing with. You have to vet them because if
are we teaching the boys?
You could tell by the first couple conversations.
But are we teaching the boys to do that? Because all I hear boys talking about is bodies. How many bodies I got, and I'm trying to. They're not talking about having. That's why we tell our daughters, look, what's wrong with friendship? And I try to power drive that into their spirit because I keep trying to let them know when you can find out a lot about a guy when he's as your friend, then you'll ever find out about him practically as your man. And a whole lot of these people are getting in relationships and stuff. You ain't old enough to understand nothing to be trying to be in no relationship.
Well, let me give you a peek inside of mainstream. These young ladies, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17-year-old young ladies are also talking about their body counts.
Yeah.
So we in a bad
place. It goes both ways.
Yeah.
That's why, like I said, for me in my house, I try to let them know, listen, this can't be the route because you're going to lose. And see, they try to say, no, at first it used to be, well, the guys could just, when I grew up, it was like guys could just go home, take a shower, come back outside, and nobody would say nothing about all the bodies he done been through that week. But to let a girl do that, then she's a taghead, she's a this, she's a that, she's a trick, blah, 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 because she trying to do the same thing. Somebody is a breakdown somewhere if we as parents are not teaching our girls and guys or whatever that's not the way to figure out who you should be in a relationship with. Just sexual conquest can't be the thermometer, the gauge.
Well, I tell you this, Mama Noise. These girls need to have the mindset, I need to marry before I carry. And if you have that mindset, you won't have nothing to worry about.
But are we putting too much pressure on the young ladies? Shouldn't we have our young men?
You have to
have our young men with the same mentality.
No, you can't. You can't. Because the reason why is because the girl's gonna suffer the most pain and the most suffering out of the situation. Because they're gonna end up carrying that baby for 9 months, delivering that baby, taking a chance on losing her life on that table.
Yeah, you're right, but I think you're right. But I think that's a great. I think both young men and young women need to have that same mentality. If you're not prepared to marry, then keep your tallywhacker in your britches. I'm telling you, I drive a school bus, and I thought the young men behind me on Monday, I thought they were having an intelligent conversation for once. They were talking about the abortion rights bill and and the state, some of them thought that it was a state thing, a few states, and one of the other little boys, and these are young black men. The
You
other
might
little
want
boy
to watch
said,
that
no,
A word
no.
on
Said
YouTube.
this is nationwide.
They sensitive.
And so we going down the road, and just a couple of minutes later, turns out the whole conversation was simply because now they can't screw as freely as they want to.
Oh, you can, but you're gonna take that. But look, the unfortunate problem is they've been using deletion as a form of child what's a birth control.
Birth control.
Birth control, yeah.
Right.
You don't use something like that as birth control. That should be a last resort for a situation that like incest or somebody booty snatched you. That's what that should be for. Not for some bullshit ass one night stand and now you slipped up because the condom broke and now you are pregnant and you going, that's your first result or your first answer. I'm gonna go ask this. Oh, that's sad.
Well,
That is sad.
the even scarier part was before even going to that, when we fell asleep at the wheel and allowed them to put the pill in the pharmacies. What's it called?
Plan B.
B.
Day after, yeah, the day after pill. It's just an abortion in a pill. That you like. Oh, I didn't know I don't know if she's pregnant or not, but just in case, let's go ahead and shake up some of these day after pills, like some sweet tarts for a couple of days to make sure that we don't have we ain't got a problem. But we fell asleep at the wheel and was like, well, maybe that won't bother me, but we're not realizing that it's not about what's bothering us immediately. It's those after us.
You're right. But like I was saying, we have to encourage, if we encourage these girls to get married before they carry, then these guys, they not going to get no opportunity to whip it out. Only way they can do it unless they booty snatching. And we know there's a consequence behind that. So if we can get these young ladies to accept that mindset and to go with it.
Can we clarify what a booty snatcher is?
Rape.
That is the most Mississippi term
okay.
I've heard Tim say since he's been on this show. Booty snatch.
I just said I want a definition because
it's rape. Rape is what
it's
it
said. There's nothing rape, booty snatch.
Yeah, you on YouTube, so I don't want you. I don't want to. They sensitive about them words.
They absolutely are. Yes.
Because you keep leaning up every time he say, the girls got to take responsibility.
I am.
Uh-oh.
I'm torn between my love for Tim and my absolute hatred for what he says about this issue. I agree with some things and I don't agree with others. And here's where I disagree.
Let's just have the conversation, fellas.
Why in the hell? I agree, brother. I totally agree. Why in the hell would you put it all on a woman? Ideally, you are correct. She's the one that has to carry it for 9 months. She's the one that, for lack of a better way to put it, stuck like Chuck for 18 years. That nigga gone. I agree. But the reality is, Tim, that young girl that's doing that doesn't have a dad at home like you to teach her. Her mama's working 2 jobs because no dad is at home, so nobody's teaching her. Because Big Mama don't exist no more. Big Mama in the goddamn clubs with the... Oops.
Even your dog thought there was bullshit about Big Mama.
He don't want me cussing no more. He's a Christian dog. Listen, we have to understand that our young ladies are broken, and I know my co-pastor don't like that.
I hate that with a
But
passion.
when daddy's not in the home, you come up with a better term for it. because Tim made the sacrifice and did what he had to do for his daughter because he didn't want her to be in that predicament. He didn't want her to be out there waiting on some nigga to tell her, baby, I love you. He told his daughter, I love you, before she even knew what it was.
And cuz, just to help
So
you
we
out.
can't blame women for the position they're in when men aren't there to teach them.
And I'm afraid that if we leave our young men out of the equation, what we're going to be left with is, if you don't get it, take it.
Well,
If she's not willing to give it freely, take it, because
Well-
they haven't been included in the conversation.
But let me say this: I'm not leaving a man out there completely totally now, because I'm all for dick discipline.
Okay.
And I'll tell you that in a minute. I'm all for dick discipline. I said, I tell them, don't just put your stuff in anything, man. Don't just be out there like that. It ain't worth it. Because guess what? You mess around, get one of these, like I said, these tack heads or chicken heads pregnant, you got the wrong one, you in trouble. Now you got a lifetime of suffering you got to deal with.
Would
From
you stop
the mother.
calling our black women tack heads and chicken heads? What?
No, hold on, cuz. Listen to me. I'm talking about the bad ones. I'm talking about the hoes, the tack heads, and chicken heads. Now, I'm not talking about the ladies. I'm not talking about the ladies. There's some ladies out there. We know Mama Noise is a lady. I'm sure your wife is a lady. I'm sure my man is not. He got a lady. But you do got some.
He stated earlier that chicken head tack head wasn't race specific.
No. We talked about, cuz you weren't paying attention. See, you probably think about that at roast you got in it.
And I interrupted you, because I didn't want to hear that bullshit about it. Oh, you don't know my wife. You don't know that she's a lady. I know that's where you was going to go.
Right, that was coming.
No,
You know that was coming.
That's why I
You know that
interrupted
was
you,
coming.
Black Ass.
You know that was coming.
But I also said that there's some ladies out there. You know what I'm saying? You know, ladies don't be like, don't get offended by it if it doesn't apply to you. Right? That's how it should go. If it don't apply, don't offend it. But if it does,
we got to have more empathy and sympathy for our young ladies than what you are saying right now. because their environment is as dysfunctional as the day is long. And you know it is, which is why you wanted to avoid it. We understand what a missing dad does in a home. We understand that.
Didn't hurt me. He's missing.
It even affected you, Tim, because you had told me yourself you a reform hoe. Well, damn it, you was a hoe, but you don't want her to be a hoe. Come on now, we gotta stop doing that to ourselves.
I'm a reformed man whore.
You was a hoe.
I'm reformed.
But you calling her all kind of names because she was a hoe.
I ain't gonna relapse either.
Yeah.
Not no time soon. Hey, look, look, because I'm telling you, I have straight up conversation with my daughter, man. I don't know if I could talk about it like that, but I tell her, I told her and my stepdaughter, I said, girls like you, I would have ran through y'all. Y'all easy prey. I would have fucking got up. That's all I would have did with y'all, because y'all easy. I would have ran the game on y'all, just bust one and got up through.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, Lord, I'm just being honest. I straight up and had those type of conversations. I don't sugarcoat. I don't know for what? Because the world's not going to do it. They're not going to water shit down for you. When you go out there in the world, it's going to be uncut. No chaser. So I'm straight up blunt with them, and I did the same thing with my son. But it is what it is. This is what's going on here. Don't fall in love with the first piece of dick that gets stuck to you. It ain't worth it.
Okay. Woo. This show has escalated quickly today. I just didn't see this coming.
Oh, don't let your daughter do it.
We good, bro. You know it is.
Okay, I seen a message. I said, please don't let her be heard.
You good.
Heard you. Sorry, put the fa la 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 after what you said.
You good. The challenge I'm having with the conversation is the challenge I have with Cuz all the time.
Okay. I'm glad I'm not the only one. Okay.
Right. Well, what irony is the challenge that he's having is the challenge I have with him all the time. Like, you're saying the women are responsible, they should do this, they should do that. And I've always said it's the men have to own their part in this. They have to be taught. They have to be cultivated and shown an example to the point where they begin to say that anything outside of this example is uncool. This ain't the way to do it. I shouldn't be that kind of guy. And we have elevated historically throughout the last 30, 40, maybe even 50 years of the Black community, the conquest of the Black woman or women in general. And so why are we shocked of how we got here? And why are we shocked at why Tim would arrive at this place where he said, well, it's got to be the woman. She got to take the responsibility. We've been telling them that they got to take the responsibility. It was never right to say it. It was never right to allude to it. It has never been right to tell Black men, you have no responsibility to the community at large and its health and its self-esteem and its self-worth for the women that are in that community. So if we're not gonna, why are we gonna be shocked at this now when we've always said it like this? This is what we say to Black men. We don't want to hold them accountable, and we don't have a plan in place to change it.
Well, hey, Lord, I think we do hold them accountable. We hold them accountable way more than we might admit to. But like I said, you're gonna have them girls out here who's not gonna take on that mindset. Talking about married to you, Carrie. I'm saving myself for my husband. I'm not gonna do what I need to do. You're gonna have some girls out there like it. So with those girls out there like it, there's gonna be opportunity for these guys to go out there and get theirs. That's when I keep talking about. You got to have big discipline.
But I'm gonna use your example, Tim.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna use it in the way of the animal kingdom, because that's what Stefan Kai did. He said, by nature, men are predators, make the prey harder to get. But lions don't care what prey they get. If one is hard to get, they just won't get that one. They'll just wait on a weaker one. When does the lion become protective of the entire herd, not just the ones that he can get? And that's what I'm saying.
And that's why I was talking about big discipline. You got to, I tell men, protect yourself at all times.
But okay,
don't mess around. I encourage my son, don't have premarital sex. But if something happens, please protect yourself.
But I think it's even greater than that, though, bro. We don't have a wherewithal of intention with that Black woman from the very beginning. So the fact that we're leading with pleasure as opposed to leading with purpose is the problem. We don't see a purpose in this woman other than our own self-gratification. So because my ejaculation is way more important than your feelings, I'm going to lead with what I want as opposed to what you want.
But you don't think most young boys are thinking like that?
I do think that they're thinking like that, which I am saying is the problem. We have not taught our young men to value these young ladies to a place where they say, it's not that I'm not going to not sleep with you because I don't want to. I'm not going to sleep with you because we both have future and purpose, and I don't want to mess up yours or mine just on one night. Now, if I see myself as being with you or wanting to be with you, then maybe we can start having that conversation.
But Lord,
I know what you're saying, Ron. I know what you're saying without saying it. Where are these Black men that are going to do the right thing here? They're never going to do it.
No, I wasn't going to say that.
Okay, well, go ahead and say what you're going to say there.
No, I'm just listening because basically you saying you shouldn't be fucking at all then until you're ready to get married.
Well,
and I don't see that ever happening to the fact that men or women are both going to say, I'm not going to have sex unless it's the purpose of marriage. I just don't see that happening. What I could probably see better is getting back to preaching and teaching